Stop scrolling and look at this mountain. Most people see a spiritual paradise, but let's get real. For the people born here, the Himalayas aren't a sanctuary. They're a prison of rock and vertical miles. While you're paying $5,000 to find yourself on a guided trek, the locals are fighting a daily war against geography that wants to starve them out. We love to romanticize the simple life, but there is nothing simple about carrying your body weight in firewood just to have a warm cup of tea. Today we're ditching the namaste filters and the peaceful flute music. I'm taking you into the grit, the grind, and the brutal reality of how these communities turned one of the most hostile environments on Earth into a masterclass in human defiance. Welcome to Nepal, Unfiltered. To understand this grit, you have to look back over 2,000 years. These aren't just farmers. They are the descendants of the great Tibeto-Burman migrations. These tribes crossed the world's highest passes, not for a TikTok, but to escape conflict and find a sliver of land they could call their own. They didn't just settle here, they engineered the mountains. See those terraces? They are thousands of years old. Every single step in these hills was carved by a human hand and an iron pick, turning vertical death traps into life-giving rice paddies. This isn't just agriculture, it's ancient geoengineering that has outlasted empires. In the village, the morning isn't a race, it's a ritual. Before the first hiker even zips their tent, there is the Atithi Devo Bhava, the belief that the guest is God. But the real God here is the fire. You'll see it in the small things. A hand placing a marigold on a stone shrine, a dab of red tika on a forehead, the rhythmic sweeping of a mud courtyard. Religion here isn't a Sunday-only event, it's a survival strategy. When a mother lights the chulo, she's not just making breakfast, she's honoring the hearth that has kept her lineage alive through winters that would freeze a modern city to its knees. It's a life of presence, where every action has a spiritual echo. There's a reason the world knows the name Gurkha. This rural village life is the breeding ground for the world's most feared soldiers. For centuries, the harshness of these hills, the thin air, the constant climbing, the scarcity, has forged a level of physical and mental toughness that is literally legendary. Historically, the bravest of the brave came from these exact stone houses. They left the plow to defend their sovereignty against the British Empire and won. When you see a 70-year-old grandmother carrying a massive load of grass, you're looking at that same DNA. Resilience isn't a choice here, it's the family business. Forget networking or LinkedIn, meet Parma. This is a labor exchange system that predates modern currency. In these isolated valleys, if you tried to survive alone, you'd be dead by the first frost. Historically, villages formed guthi, social organizations that managed everything from irrigation to festivals. Today, Parma is the ultimate community bank where you deposit sweat, not cash. Today, 20 people harvest your field. Tomorrow, you're at theirs. No invoice, no Venmo request, just a deep-rooted understanding that in the shadow of the peaks, the I is irrelevant. Only the we survives. When the crops fail or things go wrong, they don't check a weather app. They call the Dami Jakri. This is shamanism, a connection to the land that's older than your history books. It's a world of ancestors and energy. While we might call it folklore, to the community, it's a vital connection to the spirit of the mountain. And then you have the elders. In a place where history isn't always written in books, the grandfathers and grandmothers are the living libraries. They carry the seeds of the past in their pockets and the wisdom of the seasons in their eyes. These villages were once the hidden hubs of the Himalayan salt trade. For centuries, caravans of yaks crossed these paths, trading Tibetan salt for lowland grain. This history of trade created a culture that is incredibly adaptive. It's why you'll find a mix of Buddhist prayer flags and Hindu temples in the same square. They didn't fight over theology, they traded wisdom. They learned to be hospitable, because in the trade days, a stranger wasn't a threat. They were a source of news and a vital link to the outside world. Let's be honest, the mountains are held up by the women of Nepal, period. They are the CEOs of the household, the CFOs of the farm, and the glue of the community. From running female-led cooperatives to managing homestays with the precision of a five-star hotel manager, they do it all while balancing a 40-kilogram basket of fodder on their backs. That's not just hard work, that's a superpower. That's legendary endurance. But let's be real. The simple life is under siege. Roads are finally reaching these villages, bringing plastic, Wi-Fi, and the lure of the city. The youth are leaving for Dubai or Qatar to send money back home. The silence of the hills is beautiful, but for many, it's a silence of lost opportunity. The grit remains, but the culture is at a crossroads. We aren't just looking at a village, we're looking at the final chapter of an ancient way of life. It's a reminder that humans are incredibly resilient, but even the strongest stone eventually wears down. If this deep dive into the grit and grace of the Himalayas moved you, give that like button some love and hit subscribe. We're on a mission to uncover the stories and cultures that the rest of the world often overlooks. Not just the scenery, but the soul behind it. Drop a comment below. If you had to survive a week in these hills, what's the one thing you'd miss most from your easy life? Let's get a conversation going. Stay curious, stay bold, and I'll see you in the next one. Namaste.